This is the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, with Erolai, Kreese, and Mark, bringing you all your DiFO news and talk. Welcome to Season 4, the LDBT era. Now let's start the show.
Welcome to episode 150 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. I'm Mark, and I'm glad you're with us. Tonight it is April 29th, 2021, and I'm not here alone. I'm here with my co-host. First is Arrow. Arrow, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I've been trying to transition my outdoor cat to full-time indoors. Like, he's indoor, but now he's going full indoor. And it's been tiring, but I am here and I am happy to be here.
We also have Kreese with us. Kreese, how are you doing?
Good evening. I am exhausted, so I'm going to try to power through this and then try to get a good rest tonight. We'll see how this all goes, but I am happy to be here too.
Welcome to the Crystal Chronicles, where everyone's tired and had a long day. And we're also joined by Mino Spellgood. Mino, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm here. Thanks
for joining us tonight. And thank you, the Witch Witch. No, thank you, all of the viewers joining us live on Twitch, and all of you watching at home or listening on your favorite podcast apps. We do Witch is a great. We were talking about that in the pre-show era. Witch is really nice, but we have all kinds of things to talk about, including Madoyos. But first, let's get to the news of the day. There's a couple costumes for you to buy if you're so interested. Although I will say it's the Vane costume and it's the Terra costume. I will say I am surprised that I have not been seeing a lot of Terra costumes, even though we've had this costume several times in co-op. I'm talking about, of course. We've had this costume several times, and I just don't see. I don't know if people don't like it or people are just cheap. Because I mean, I've seen a lot of, I saw a lot of Celeste. Trying to think of some other Sarah. Didn't really see too much of Sarah, I guess, but. Is that just me? Has anybody else seen lots of green hair Terras?
I have loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I have it, but
I haven't seen that many.
Yeah,
actually.
I haven't seen many.
I have not been doing a lot of co-op, so I have not had a lot of experience checking them out yet.
The reason why I noticed I've been in with a lot of green-haired Terras is I play video for this co-op, and yeah, the green hair is like the exact same color. So I have to pay attention because sometimes I get a turn. I don't notice they just look too alike on the little turn bar screen, and I'd be like, "Oh crap, my bad."
That's terrible when you get a turn in this co-op. Yeah, no, it's not good at all. But I'm glad you're repping. Glad you're repping Terra. Hey, last week we forgot, and by we I mean I, forgot that we had a TCC challenge. Yeah, Macnol came out of slumber. He's been swamped with work and helped put together a TCC challenge with our crew, and it was for terrible mechanical tentacles. And it banned Aerith, Sarah, Yish, no BT, and if you wanted to do a TCC Extreme, it also banned Paladin Cecil. The winners were Mistleton, who's here tonight, Yoshi Pasta, who I think I saw as well, Leviax, Somegi, Scott, Type Zoe, Snoopball, Raw Life, I think who is on as well, Heavy Cura, Excalibur, Blartanian, who's here, and No Limits, and for the Extreme, it was Leviax, Somegi, Snoopball, Heavy Cura, and No Limits. Blartanian says, "This is my first time being mentioned in a TCC challenge on the podcast. Welcome to the club, Blartanian. It is a small and intimate club of insane people who like to play things more than once. But congratulations to all of you, and I apologize for forgetting last week. I even had the slides ready. I just completely forgot about it. I was all hopped up on ginger ale, so that can happen. Last week we did introduce Boss Rush 3. But we had not had time to actually do the boss rush. And so we just need to talk about it a little bit. I'm not going to go over in great detail the fight. It's been out for a week, obviously. You can go to DissidiaFFOO.com, our friend Macnol, and I believe it's DD Rocks, or maybe somebody else did this. It says by Macnol, so I'll give credit to Macnol. Did a nice little write-up guide for it. Oh, no, this guide was created by Scott, DFO GLSO, Scott Ong. So thank you for Scott, and you saw Scott on the TCC Challenge as well. Scott helps out Macnol on a regular basis, Dissidia Info. This was a 4-wave boss rush. Of course, if you're not familiar with Boss Rush, we'll do the Boss Rush. That's next time. Boss Rush. You have to create several different teams. You can go up to 5 teams, but to get all the rewards, you need to do it in 3 teams for the Lufania or level 200 challenge. This one had 4 waves. The first wave was 2 of those crust beetles. Their Lufania orb increases by 10 when the enemy takes brave damage from a debuff. So, for example, Waka, Trey, that's kind of the synergy folks. Firion, Eldenarsh, Gabran, Caius, Emperor, lots of different options. The second wave is the Scorpions, the Guard Scorpions from Final Fantasy VII. Their Lufania orb is increased when a unit heals by 50% or more. So Y'shtola was the synergy unit for that. Aerith, Paladin, Cecil, Theodore, Rude would be good ones for that. The third wave was 2 of the 3-headed, I forget what they're called, dragon things. Is it the Lena boss? Anyway, they're nasty dragon-looking things. They did not have an orb, so that's kind of the relief wave. And then the final wave were these new snakes that are real nasty. And their orb increases by 2 when a target is inflicted by 2 or more debuffs. But if you put 4 debuffs on them, they go berserk and they are very, very hard to kill. Thankfully, they are immune to a few different types of debuffs. And so you can bring, they're immune, I think everything is immune to imperil debuffs on this entire wave. So you can bring imperilers and they will not put on their imperil debuff. So that's very, very helpful. Each of the bosses has their own mechanics we can go into in detail. We've fought the first 3 several times. The 4th wave is a new wave, I believe. And the big thing is they get these spines that you have to break 3 times. They get a little spine counter on top of them, an overhead buff. And every time that breaks, you have to, they gain brave and you have to break them again, or else they have a massive amount of brave. So obviously Waka, Setzer, Trey is good in this one as well. Anything that can shut them out. Arciella does a lot of work in this one as well. So anything that can shut them out and keep them from doing damage to you, instant break, that kind of stuff is very, very helpful. Trey's really helpful in this one. So but I just kind of want to go over a couple of things. If you look on the call to arms, Macnol, I don't know if Macnol's been doing this for all of them, but there is a new type of, so if you look at the call to arms, DissidiaInfo.com, there's about 60 runs here recorded. But he has it, he has little icons. He has a little, his little trophy for people who did not use boosted characters. And he has a little medallion for people who used only 2 teams. So that's pretty cool. So if you want to see people that only use 2 teams, that's an option. I would encourage you. You don't have to try to rush through 2 teams, and you don't have to wait till all your turns are done. If the team you're using is not the right team, you can switch. You have 3 teams. Each team has 50 actions. So, the easiest way to play is to create 3 teams and then switch in when your first team is done, try to make a good team that can get through 2 waves, but then bring in another team for that 3rd wave just to eat through it. Maybe set up the 4th wave and bring in a team specifically for that, and you'll be fine. So, or a team that focuses on the 1st wave, then a team that can do the 2nd and 3rd, and likewise. But you don't have to just carry the. Feel free to bring your characters in, because you can do it with just 2 teams. I don't necessarily see if you're struggling with it, you don't need to do that. This Retro Gamer Dad's like, 3 is plenty. But it is possible to do it without any synergy, without the boosted characters, which give synergy to the entire team. Liz Lizette has a run on here. Yoshi Pasta, John Belmont, Leviax, Excalibur, Belial. I mean, these are friends of the show. Soma Gay, who we just saw. Scott, of course, Final Asum, Clay, Heavy Cura, Blartanian, Kenacity, Scarlet Claire. There was somebody else who I didn't know. Heart Nets 13. So all those people have runs that have no synergy whatsoever. So congratulations to all of you who were able to do that.
Where's
very,
my
very cool.
name?
I
did it.
Well, you didn't submit a video. So, but you're going to tell us all about it. And then
I did it on stream.
You did
the
do it.
VOD.
You didn't submit it though. That's the problem.
Yeah, you gotta upload it. You gotta download your video, then do some edits, and then upload it on YouTube and share it to DissidiaFFOO.
Fuck it, I'm over it. That's too much work.
Well, I was going to tell you what I used, and then apparently I didn't take a screenshot. But I used synergy on all the waves. So I used Trey and Y'shtola and Waka, because I did pull Waka, so I had to use him. So I used Trey in my first team. I used Y'shtola. I used Trey, somebody, and somebody else. Trey, Sarah, somebody. I used Y'shtola, Aerith, and Squall on the second team, and Waka and a couple other idiots on the third team. It was crazy. You pulled Waka. Why did I pull Waka, Daniel? Why? Why did I pull Waka? It's great. That's a great question. Check out episode 149 if you're interested in why I pulled Waka. Arrow, how did you approach this? Because I'm sure you did something more creative than I did.
Not too much more. I used 2 synergy. My first team had Furion, Celeste, and Trey. So, I was just doing the counter follow-up team, trap team. And then my second team was Squall, Sarah, and Arciella, because screw that 3rd wave where the first attack they do is an HP attack on the highest HP character, and both of them will target that character. And then the 3rd wave, or my 3rd party, was Onion, Waka, and Arciella. Or not Arciella, but Aranea. Aranea is so good for that last wave, man. And Onion just makes her go on fire, because you just spam high wind the whole freaking time. High wind plus, high wind plus, high wind plus. Oh, it was beautiful. I had a lot of fun. I always enjoy Boss Rush. It's just so fun trying to plan out the teams. But this one, I will admit, was actually quite a bit harder, because this is the first time on the Japanese version where they got the character synergy thing, where if you had one character that was boosted, then your full party would be. So they tuned it kind of around that, and you can kind of tell. But it's still doable without boosted characters. It's just that I feel like this Boss Rush has been the hardest one yet, but I had an absolute blast trying to figure it out. So that's all I got to say. Back to you.
Yeah, I did use RNA as well. She does go very well here. Kreese, have you had a chance to do this Boss Rush?
I did do it. So let's see if I remember all of my teams correctly. First team that I used for Wave 1 in the first half of Wave 2 was Trey with Onion Knight, and who else? Who was number 3 in that group? Oh yeah, Gladio. Gladio was number 3. Second team that wasn't so great for Wave 2 but destroyed Wave 3 was Y'shtola, Cloud, and Kite. I wanted them for the lunches in Wave 3. I tolerated them not being so great for Wave 2, and it worked. Even though I did not have many turns going into Wave 3, I saved my summon, I saved my burst for Wave 3, and they did not have much health. I think I basically ended Wave 3 with... They ended their turns with either Wave 3 being done, or maybe they might have finished off Wave 3. I don't remember anymore. So they were done. I think they even made it. They might have made it to Wave 4 just between them. So they cleaned out Wave 2. They completed Wave 3, and they ended in Wave 4. And then Wave 4, I put together a very bad team. I still got through Wave 4 with Team 3, but it wasn't the best team. I used Celeste for the ice enchant and the taunts. Charlotta uses my boosted character for this, and my third character was Kuja. Kuja was not a great choice. He was doing damage. Some of his abilities got the ice on them, so he was doing weakness damage some of the time. But I would have been much better off bringing almost anyone else. I forgot that they had ice weakness. For some reason, I was panicking when I was putting together the team, and I would have been just so much better off bringing anyone else who was not elemental and could, with a burst, who could just take advantage of that. So in retrospect, I probably should have just brought someone like Fiorian or someone else who I had a burst weapon for, and that would have just saved me so much more headache. And yeah, I still made it through there, but it was a rough final wave. It was just, I basically could not use Charlotta's HP plus because otherwise I would have hit 4 debuffs, and that would have made me very sad. But I did it in three teams.
Yeah, you got them. Why not use them? Mino, how did you approach this?
I don't remember anymore. It's a very standard fight, honestly. The big thing that people are talking about was the brave damage reduction. Well, no. The first thing people were talking about was the launch and imperil immunity.
Yep.
Which is nuts. Learn to adapt your playstyles, people. You don't have to imperil everything and hit 999 on everything. But what the most people complain about after that, and including this new Terra fight I'm sure we're going to talk about, is the brave reduction has gone through the roof, especially that third wave with the Tiamats. Because they have no orb, they compensate it for being extra tanky. And I guess the standard response to insane brave reduction, because I have seen a lot of people struggling on it. I've seen some streamers who are actually waiting for Terra to do the boss rush. Is that they're like, oh, I don't know how to get past the brave damage reduction. It's slowing down my run, so I can't do it in 3 teams. The very basic one is to stack a lot of either brave damage up or attack downs or defense downs. I mean, that takes a little bit of work, team balancing, and math. But even easier to get past that, battery through it. I'm not sure why a lot of people aren't familiar with this concept of, if this guy's not taking brave damage and I can't do damage, bring battery through it. I know Jin Lee's spamming chat right now, so I might as well give Sarah a shout out here. But a character like Sarah batteries the shit out of your party, and Waka, and like a lot of the characters that they're selling for this, right? Like, it's huge. Aerith is another big one that's going, like, huge fat batteries that just let your team cap no matter how much brave damage reduction they have. And I think the Tiamats get up to like 80% or higher. And it's just like battery through it. And people are like, oh, well, then how do I shave? Well, Sarah has that stupid-ass double poison that's like annihilating their brave anyway. And then you've got the insta-breaks like Trey, who's a synergy. You've got Jack. You've got Ramza. Like, if you're struggling on this fight and the Terra fight right now because of brave damage reduction, just battery. One of the reasons Terra's doing so well is because she batteries herself like a shit ton through everything. Yeah, like her meteor hits suck. I don't know if you guys run her on the Lufania.
It's pretty bad.
I haven't gotten to Lufania yet. Her brave damage drops in chaos.
Yeah. In Lufania, full synergy BIS artifacts, her meteors are hitting like 3k, 3.5k a hit. And it doesn't matter because she's battering the shit out of herself.
She starts with She starts with 90,000 brave. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Right. And it's just like, I keep trying to explain to a lot of people who are asking for help on this, and it's just blowing my mind that people aren't understanding battery through brave damage reduction. Everyone's like, brave damage reduction sucks. Yeah, it does. But we have so many battery characters, guys. Like, that's the whole point. That's what they're selling right now. They released Waka, they released Sarah, they released Terra. It's all about just batterying through it. But of course, you could big brain, like I said, team composition, build past that. But the point is, yes, batteries, poisons, like that's what they're pushing, guys. Like that's the whole. They always push the most recent units. That's the trend right now. And I think Ink was talking about Waka for the Terra fight. We'll get to that when we get to that. But he's saying like, oh, Mark, have you used Waka on Terra yet? Because it's range resist. Waka batteries himself to full before every hit too, guys. Yeah, so I'm pretty fucking sure
Waka's brave
Waka
hits. Waka's brave hits are not. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Waka can get through. Now I want to try it after the podcast, but like Waka is not hindered by range damage resist. He only has like a handful of low hits. Like the point is he batteries himself something ridiculous like 200% of his attack before every attack, guys. Like that's the whole point of these self-battery characters.
I guarantee Waka probably works just as good as Bosch on this current fight.
Bosch sucks.
I brought Bosch and it was worthless. Yeah. So CSDX says 3K times 15 hits, which is what Meteor does, is still a lot. It is a lot, but if she started with 0, it would not be. If that was hitting for 45,000, it would not be as satisfying as hitting for 230,000, which is what it's doing. But we're going to talk about that more before we get to that. Let's talk about the SQEX community stream, the SQEX mobile stream. Joshua and SQEX Crystal joined us to give us all the news of the upcoming May events. Really the only quality of life, I'll just kind of briefly hit it, and then if anybody wants to kind of talk about what they are interested in for the month, we'll do that. There is one quality of life, which is the support list. Your friends list will now update every 6 hours or something compared to every 24 hours. I don't know. It's not anything that I was concerned about, but it is a thing that we got, and whatever, it's good. And then we got the announcement of a Mayfair event, so another spring event. It's going to have 12 free multis over 4 distinct banners. We had that similar before, so these are going to be kind of unique banners to GL. They're not going to have new weapons, but they're going to have repeat weapons. Will they have LDs? That's a good question. We don't know. We'll see. But we're going to get 12 free multiples. Will they have bursts on them? We don't know. We'll see. We're also going to get 5 free multis, and that will be on the Garland BT cycle. So all the banners in the Garland cycle, we will get free pulls on. The Terra cycle, we're not getting free pulls on. So that's, we've said, if you want to pity Terra and you don't care about anybody else on this cycle, the first banner is actually not a terrible one. You maybe wait for your daily tickets, but the chance of getting it in on a daily ticket's pretty slim. We are also going to get a reset to the co-op first-time meeting rewards, which ends up being every time you co-op with someone you've never co-oped before, you get some gems. Ends up being about 4,000 gems, so 4,000 free gems. Very cool. And then a new permanent Abyss. So another part to Abyss Perfectum is going to be shared in 2 parts over this next month. So that's exciting. We all love Abyss, and we're looking forward to that. So new content for Abyss Perfectum. The only character that was not announced on stream was Iggy. So he is fine. He doesn't need a rework like Terra or like Sarah did. So or a kind of GL first boards. If he got GL first boards, he'd probably be broken. I'll take it because he's a favorite of mine. But assume he will be kind of connected to one of these Abyss banners, and maybe he'll be featured in that with some other characters per se. So, Arrow, anything from the stream that caught your eye? We got to see Crystal's dog. Adorable dog. If you didn't see pictures of that,
I gotta be honest. I was not able to join the stream. I was working. Well, no, I was napping at the time because I just gotten my second shot of Moderna that day, and I was so tired. It was so weird. I was cold and tired, but I had nothing else happen to me from the side effects of that. And I slept through the stream, and I just didn't bother to watch it. I just looked at the slides. I'm really happy about the friend change because some of my friend units I have that are friends are or favorites or whatever are there because they are extremely rare. So now that I can use them more often, it is like big heart, because I do weird team comps for a lot of my stuff. So being able to have more opportunities to use them is very welcome, especially when I'm recording videos. I know that's not maybe for everybody, but it's there. And what was the other thing? I love Abyss. So this is super hype, guys. I'm so excited for more Abyss. And it's permanent this time. Yeah. And I hope I assume we're going to get Ignis. So I don't know what the deal is with that. But when we get him, I'm going to I'm thinking about pulling for him. So I've been thinking about who to go for this month with gems. And I think I'm going to settle on Iggy. So that's it. It's a nice month, free pulls. Hopefully we'll get some reprints of some very useful LDs for maybe some players who are still trying to catch up on content, that kind of thing. So especially if these new banners coming out will also be able to help you with Abyss, of course. So big content, or maybe even something like that could still help some of the people with Transcendence, because the second stage is coming soon and this first stage is just ridiculous. So if they could reprint some of the characters from that, even though I know it hasn't been too long, that would be fantastic. Those are pretty much my various thoughts on it. I will go to Mino.
Yeah, before we go to Mino, G50 was saying, by the way, it was favorited friends refresh 30 minutes after use. All others refresh in 6 hours. Jin Lee on YouTube says it's 1 hour for non-favorites. 6 hours was the previous time. So, so an hour refresh for all friends, 30-minute refresh for favorites friends. So favorites friends. Yeah. Mino, what did you take away from the stream? What are you excited about? What are you not excited about, etc.?
GL first quality of life is interesting. I did see a lot of people ask for that, but I was surprised they put it in. It's really unnecessary. I mean, bonus is bonus, so I'm not going to say it's a bad addition. I love it. But the people who asked for it, I just don't understand it. I thought the whole point, like, you have a 300 friend capacity on your friends list, and people are always asking for more for some reason. It's unrealistic anyone is ever going to run through 300 friends in 6 hours. That's impossible. You guys are liars. And the other thing is, I thought the whole point of the social aspect was to make more friends and then pressure them to pull for the weapons that you want them to have. This seems kind of counterproductive to keep your friends pools as small as possible for efficient farming, but it's an interesting addition. I'm grateful for anything they give us for quality of life. Everyone's always complaining, saying, "Is that it? Does that all we got for early quality of life? How much more stuff do you guys want?" We're pretty much caught up to JP. Like, what else do you want them to bring early, guys? Like, anything at this point is welcome. That's why
we still have several things that JP doesn't have. So
what does JP have that we don't? They just got the
sell items.
Selling.
Yep.
Yeah. They just got the sell on pull, and people are already asking for that, I believe.
That's pretty much it. They got Jurgen.
Not yet, I think. Not yet.
He was just announced 40 minutes ago. His video's on Twitter. So you can watch that. So Blartanian, you can always shout me out for using my friend unit. I don't even know what friend unit I have up at the moment. So I have no idea what friend unit I have equipped at the moment. Is it Waka?
Jokes aside, for quality of life, though, it is welcome. People are happy for it. It's always addition. For what's coming this month, very, very packed month. Story chapter plus Transcendence tier plus 2 stratums of Abyss on top of the normal stuff like L season events, right? Really packed month. And if you look at the schedule, this is the first time we're not having multiple 6-7 day delays. Everything's like 4 or 5 days, very strict. It's very nice. This is the busiest month we've had in a while. That being said, I remember Inkwelder said something on some of the streams in the last couple of days that I kind of agree with. He said this is going to be a very extremely boring month. Plus, because the meta is skewing to very, very basic, easy characters and not giving the enemies any turns. It's going to be 2 weeks of Terra spamming attacks so the enemy never gets any turns, and then you're moving on to Garland, who's constantly delaying so the enemy never gets any turns. And then he said all the characters coming out this week have really, really basic kits except for maybe Yang. And we'll get into Terra because I don't know how to feel about the kid. Like these are very strong kids, right? Garland and Terra and the people that accompany them. Strong kids, but very, very boring kids. And Jin Lee, since you're here, and I think who's the simp friend? I think Ink, right? Like Sarah is strong. I acknowledge. Sarah is boring. Admit it. Sarah just sits there, and then you hit one of the buttons, and it really doesn't matter which one you hit because they're both battering and they're both hitting both all targets for some amount of damage, and that's it. And that's how the whole month feels. We'll get to Terra when we get to Terra. But he's saying like this month is a big skip for a lot of characters for a lot of people. Not a lot of people are excited about Mog or Ignis or Ferris or Yang. And like I think Mark, you said this is a big skip month for you, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, in using from the Black Nero on YouTube, our friend, his rant hour on Wednesday, he streams Wednesday night on YouTube. I believe Inkwelder from the Tonberry Troupe used the term "it's a sleeper month," which for me would mean like there were like sleeper hits, but he just meant it was like a sleeper snooze fest month, skip month.
Yes.
That's what I was yeah. So premium skips. I mean, very truthfully, kind of looking at this month, there are some powerful characters. So it's not to say that there aren't, like, this month is a whole bunch of bad characters. No, not at all. This month has a whole bunch of very.
Oh yeah, Seven's here too. I forgot about her and Deuce. Oh my God, there's a lot of terrible characters that nobody likes.
But yeah, I mean, there's some characters that nobody cares about. There's characters that you just. I think one of the things Inkwelder said, if I can get my dumb thing over here. My sheet. One of the things Inkwelder said is it's not necessarily like any of these characters are particularly bad. Seven maybe kind of bad, but it's that most of us have characters who are doing the same thing. So what's Mog bringing to the table? What's Deuce bringing to the table? What's Seven bringing to the table? Even Ignis, what's Ignis bringing to the table? Dash, Bosch. What are they bringing? Even Ferris, what are they bringing to the table that you don't have? So I mean, do you have a good healer who has good support? You have a good damage dealer up? Do you have a good enchanter? You may already have. Do you have somebody who can dispel? Do you have somebody who can apply a whole bunch of debuffs? Do you have somebody who can tank? I mean, we have in the last couple months, we've had characters who do those things very well. And these characters aren't necessarily doing them much better. Yes, Terra is 2-week synergy. She's pretty crazy. She's pretty broken. Garland is 2-week synergy. He's pretty crazy. Brings a lot to the table. They're 2-week synergy characters. They're burst characters. They're going to get burst plus. They're good investment. All 2-week synergy characters are. But besides that, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of characters you could skip and be okay. That's not to say that if there's one of these characters that's a favorite, that you shouldn't pull on them, that they're not good, they're not useful. Seven's probably the low tier of the month just because we got a rework for Sarah. Seven would have been better than Sarah if Sarah hadn't gotten an LD board rework. Now kind of Sarah does everything Seven does a little bit better, very truthfully. Hey, Jinley, thank you for the subscription.
Oh, did you have more?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. How many? Just 100. 149 more subs, and I will pity Seven's LD. Just 149 more subs. No, I'm sorry, Mino. Go ahead.
Okay. And I was saying, to add to that, you can tell how generic these fucking characters are because this month's orbs are some of the stupidest orbs you've ever seen. And I'm not saying stupid difficult. I'm saying stupid anyone can do them. Just a quick preview. If you've done the Terra fight already, it's magic damage. Like, how hard is it to come up with magic damage? Then you've got non-elemental magic damage. Then Amidatelian coming on Sunday, that orb is HP regen. Come on. And then the one after that, water damage. And the one after that, delays. Like, and then AoE damage, right? Like, these are some of the shittiest. Like, this really is if you were ever low on resources and going to skip pulls, this is the month to do it. Let's be honest. But we'll cover. So all that being said, the setup is banking on the devs being savvy enough that Abyss is going to change that. Banking on knowing that the established characters and content this month is boring as shit, and Abyss will change that. That Abyss will come. Abyss will make some of these shittier characters a little more viable. Maybe it'll make Mog more desirable to pull, or Deuce, or Seven, etc. Like, hopefully, Abyss is dropping the first one's dropping right after Mog, and the other one's dropping with Ignis. Hopefully, Abyss has more interesting fights, more interesting orbs, and things that really incentivize you. So, first of all, just so glad to see Abyss come back, but hoping that the devs are savvy enough that it really changes this month around. Abyss should be the highlight, because everything else is just anything. And someone was saying, sorry, chat was going too fast. Someone was saying, Terra's ability to no-turn a fight is probably being overhyped. She does a lot of burst damage, but I don't know about no-turning. Well, you're also seeing Garland come very soon to help with that. And there's a lot of videos running like Garland Terra Young.
Yeah.
Just to do a million attacks and to never have the boss go. Like, she's part of the equation. And even if she doesn't have setup, the point is she can still ideally take 20 turns in a row. And then burst and then summon for another. She could potentially take over 30 turns in a row by herself. So it is a stupid, stupid character. But right, I'm just finishing it off with Abyss is our hope and savior. I'm putting all our money on that one.
Yeah, Ragnamune says, because Mog is soon, does that mean we have to shill him because of the TCC logo? No, the TCC logo is like Final Fantasy IX Moogle, real Moogles, not the weird Final Fantasy VI Moogles. Nobody likes those. Final Fantasy V Moogles, Final Fantasy VI Moogles, the weird, no, I'm not a big fan of the design.
Get out of here, Mike.
Not a big fan of that design. Not at all.
Which ones?
The Final Fantasy V and VI Moogles, not at all. No.
Wait, which ones are the ones you like?
Like Final Fantasy IX and 4 has better Moogles.
Oh, interesting. I don't know. The 5, 6, and 3 Moogles, they're nice and fat and chubby.
Yeah, they
they're big hugs because they're so fat.
Yeah, the 9 and up ones just have huge heads. Like, I don't know, man.
Yep. Kreese, anything from the upcoming month and stuff that you're excited about?
Nothing that hasn't been said, so since we've had this segment going on for so long, I'm not going to really add anything right now.
All right, well, let's move to the current event, Act 3, Chapter 2, Part 1. Remember, in Act 3, we have 2 parts to each chapter, so during the month, we'll have 2 parts spread out by a couple weeks. The first part is already upon us. It comes with a level 80 awakening for Terra, Bosch, Vayne, Rydia, Vanille, and Porum. Terra does get a rework. We'll talk about that in a second. And those characters are special boosted. I think that's the actual terminology, right? Special boosted for Ultimate Trials or Summon Boards. So you can bring Terra. Specifically, you can just bring Terra to grind your summon boards if you need to catch up with summon boards. Inkwelder reminded us this morning in our Discord that if you bring Terra with her LD at least, you don't need her BT, with her LD, you remove Meteor or remove Meltdown, skill 1. She will do 4 LDs and then 4 skill 2s and pretty much kill every single summon. So you can bring Terra in just 2 hard carries and auto battle and get through your summon boards very, very quickly if you need to do that. So thank you for Inkwelder for reminding us that. And if you're struggling with or catching up, let me say that. If you're catching up with summon boards and you did pull Terra, she is going to be a great help for that. Lightning's still a good option for that as well. But Terra is the special boosted, so everybody gets double points towards their boards. That's why you're going to bring her over the next 2 weeks. So Bosch gets LD boards and Terra gets a rework and an LD and a BT. Kreese, can you take us through Bosch and Terra?
Did I do them back to back, or do we just want to talk about
No,
Bosch
yeah,
quickly?
let's just do Bosch first. Yes.
I mean, he'll be quick.
Mhm.
LD boards gave him a few nice boosts. His LD now does 2 HP attacks for the attacks. He now heals the party for based on damage dealt, which is a nice boost, and that's about it. Nothing else really changed with his kit as far as I'm aware. So yeah, that's it for his LD. It's a nice boost. You can now LD call him, and I believe Arrow said earlier that the LD call is really nice. I have not had a chance to use his LD call myself, so yeah. I mean, Bosch is still basically Bosch. If you know you're getting a lot of AoE HP damage, and it's not going to be split into multiple HP attacks, then Bosch can take it and never die. If it's going to be split into multiple HP attacks, then you have to be careful, because it will kill him. Arrow, any contributions to make to Bosch?
He's still doing the same old good old Bosch things. Look, guys, I don't think we've had a proper tank in a little bit. So if you really need one, I mean, Bosch is like the ultimate tank of tanks to me until I think Gallup's next month, but we got a long wait for that. You got to get through this month, so depends on your roster. But if you have him already, definitely get his boards. You won't regret it. I think the call is pretty good. I've seen it. And I'm like, man, I'm tempted to go for it just for the call, but I know not to do that. Is he worth it? Sure, for boards. But I don't know for most players, if they should go really hard pulling for this. If you happen to get it on a free daily pool, though, congratulations, build him. He'll do his job as a tank. Boring as poo-poo. Still, the boards didn't fix that. But he is super, super effective at what he does. And when he works, oh my God, he works like beautifully. I have nothing else to add. So I'm going to pass it over to, I think, Mino. Have you gone yet?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm going to pass it over to Mino then.
I don't know. I was never a big Bosch fan. I'm sure he's fine. Never my preferred playstyle. Never even used him when he got his LD. I just don't like the suit. He's too defensive of a tank. He's got to be the weakest tank offensively.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I'd rather, as much as I hate, no, I don't hate off-turn counter stuff, but like, with more skill and work, you get a lot out of like aiding Gladio for sure, right? To be able to do the same thing. Bosch is sort of like, I'll say with Terra coming up, like a lazy fallback. Like if you really just want to have him sit there and do his thing without worrying about it ever, sure. But he holds. I don't know. No. I can't be nice. He holds people back. Like when people are doing this Lufania, they need Terra to carry Bosch through.
Oh,
and
yeah.
When they aren't meeting the turn count, they swap them out for like Gladio, and they do way better. Like Bosch is just not. I can't defend Bosch. His defense sucks.
My first run with Bosch, I used Bosch, and Terra, and who did I use? And we'll talk about it in a minute. But
the only good thing he has going for him, I think, is that he's a big wall of stats.
He does. I used Aerith, Bosch, and that's part of the issue. Bosch,
he doesn't mitigate as hard as the other tanks. He doesn't aura as hard as the other tanks. He doesn't hit as hard as the other.
What do you mean?
tanks.
He has attack plus 100%.
Yeah, he auras better than most of the other tanks.
He auras really well offensively.
I guess.
But his damage.
To make up for his personal
his damage is
I know,
not
it doesn't
high.
really make up for his own personal damage.
But
his
auras are really good.
I hate him.
His auras are pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I hate his playstyle. I'm with you on that.
But each of the tanks has their own thing, right? So I mean, if you're constantly taking AoE HP attacks, which this event really doesn't do, but if you're constantly taking AoE HP attacks, he's really, really what you need. I mean, if you're taking a lot of magic damage, obviously Celeste is doing that. Celeste is doing a little bit more. If you prefer the shields, that Gladio's just kind of this all-around tank. Galuf's going to come back with a vengeance here in a little bit. So I mean, they all have their place. But yeah, he's not bringing damage. You need to compensate heavily for that. He does some decent healing now, which is nice. So that's a little bit more useful. I'm not super excited about his call. I'm not sure compared to some other calls. I mean, it's brave damage mitigation. It's considerable brave damage mitigation and party brave regen, which is good. But I mean, so it's a good call. But I wouldn't go out of my way to pull. And I wouldn't. And I said this in my tier list video. I wouldn't go out of my way to pull for a character like Bosch. If you have him, get his LD boards and use him. But you probably are not going to be going. Even if you're a brand new player, this is not a character you're probably going for. Wait for another tank. Like there are better, newer characters to pull for. I mean, as a new player, you have some priorities, it's probably not. It's now, on the other hand, as a brand new player, a tank like this can carry you a long way through a lot of early content. But if you really love Terra and want to get her burst and want to pull on both these banners, it's not the worst idea, but for someone who's been playing a while, it's not great.
I want to interject real quick, Mark. I just thought about it. Desh is coming back this month, and he is he's kind of like he's like a pseudo tank for your party. And honestly, he would probably do you better. Even if you're you don't have him, and I know he's going to be aged by the time he comes back and he gets level 80 and everything. But what he does is extremely good as well, and will help you tank until you get a new tank next month. And Galuf, he's coming back. So
yeah, Galuf is just next month. So
yeah, so I mean, if you think you're pulling for Desh or Yang at the LC, I would maybe consider pulling there, because then you get a pseudo tank and you're going to get a premium damage dealer who works really well with some of the other characters that are here this month. Anyway, I think Nino, you wanted to say something too.
Yeah, thanks. Chat and J Dota are saying, I'll concede this point, that Bosch has niches where he can just trivialize mechanics to fights. RVK is saying, well, every tank has like certain situations where they can shut down a fight. So I guess there are fights out there, if it's like constant HP, AoE HP damage spam or whatever, Bosch is just there, and then you don't have to worry about the mechanic. I guess that's true. I guess also if you're a newer player, you need an updated tank to hold you over until Galuf, because Galuf is a nice dodge tank, but he still doesn't cancel everything, right? Bosch is still a solid tank for it. So he has his uses, guys, and I'll believe you on that. I've never been big into the niche tanking scene, but if people are saying Bosch has made safe a lot of really dangerous fights, like G50 here is saying, Bosch got him through Trey now. Then yeah. So I will give him that. But
yeah, I mean, if you literally started this month, right? If you just started the game this month, you have the Start Dash banner, which is great, of course. You pick up one or two of those characters, but you pull for Terra. I mean, it's not a bad idea to have a tank in your stable. He's going to carry you through a lot of chaoses and a good chunk of Lufanias as that tank, because he can, it's hard to kill him. He absorbs the AoE HP damage, which is real nice. So, I mean, it's not a bad pick if you're a brand new player, and you want, if you really want to speed through the game, this is your month to kind of play a bunch of it, and you don't want to wait. So, yeah, not a terrible pick, but obviously if you've been playing a while, you probably have other options and you're okay. And you can live without a tank, obviously. So, all right, well, that's Bosch. More importantly, we have a new LDBT, and that is Terra. So, Kreese, Terra also gets a rework. Kreese, let us know what Terra gets.
So, Terra gets a pretty sizable change to the way she works. As you all know, with her last rework, she got the addition of the magic mechanic, which means that if she has more than 5 magic at a time, she gets access to plus versions of her skills. She gets 5 magic when she uses base versions of her skills. If she uses her EX when it's fully realized, she gets 9 magic instantaneously. Her additional ability instantly gives her 5 magic. Using her LD ability instantly gives her 5 magic. If she uses her Brave++ or HP++, she gets 3 magic. So she has lots of ways to generate magic quickly. She starts with 5 magic instantaneously. But you basically, with her LD now, and with her EX being able to instantly generate 9 magic, and with her starting with 5 magic, you should never need to use the base versions of her abilities, or you should rarely need to use them. And that's important because the plus versions or the magic versions of her abilities are much better than the base versions of her abilities. So I'm not really going to touch on what the difference is, or I guess I should touch on what the difference is. Okay, so Meltdown plus skill 1 now is 3 brave gains and a single target brave plus HP attack. If she has 5 magic, it also does 80% splash damage. Her skill 2 Meteor plus is 2 brave gains, followed by an AoE brave plus single target HP attack. If she has 5 magic, there's a second HP dump in the middle. So she basically gets 2 HP dumps and has more brave overflow. So there you go. Those are the big changes to her kit. Basically, Meltdown is now her AoE skill, and Meteor is now her big single target HP skill. The other change she gets is she has the LD. Her LD has 4 abilities. It's instant turn rate, and other than just being a big AoE brave plus HP attack, it also gives her a new buff called Loving Heart. What Loving Heart does is it's a 4-turn buff that makes it so that she has free skill uses and instant turn rate on all abilities. She does not lose magic for 4 turns, which basically means that she gets 4 free turns to do whatever she wants. More like 5 free turns, but and this is where Terra's new mechanics come in. Basically, when she wants, she casts, or she uses Chaos Wave, and then she takes a bunch of free turns, and that's how she plays now. When you need to, Terra basically gets a bunch of free turns. She takes those free turns using a bunch of skill 1s, skill 2s, or whatever you want, and then that ends. So that's how she plays. The only thing you got to do is make sure you do reuse her EX, but her EX ability at some point to maintain Esper Blood, the unique buff from there. And other than that, that's how her new base mechanics work. Her burst ability is Trans Ultima. The burst effect from that lasts 10 turns. It increases stolen and gained overflow. It increases brave and HP damage limit. It increases brave gains by 50%. And on and during breaks, it also increases HP damage dealt. So it's a very strong burst effect. So it's very powerful. Notable thing, though, is the Trans Ultima is only a single target HP attack. So keep that in mind. It's not an AoE attack. So that is Terra. She is a very, very strong damage dealer now. She brings no party utility beyond that, though. She has 2 very junky generic debuffs, I mean. But you're only bringing her for damage. That is it. She will not provide any party utility outside of those 2 generic debuffs, which can easily be pushed off or cleansed or whatever you want. So you have to bring other people to bring the utility, to bring the party, or to bring everything else. She is there to do damage, and that is what she will do. And that's all I have to say on Terra right now. She has a lot of turns. She takes a lot of turns. Keep that in mind. And that's what she's doing. Arrow, what are your thoughts on Terra?
Okay, so the whole thing with taking turns is really good, but like Kreese just ended off with, when you have a character like this is the same thing with like Ultimecia. You have to watch it with certain orbs, because there's certain orbs where the boss needs to take an action to increase the orb. You know, like those poison sap orbs or those paralysis orbs. They gotta, actually take a turn to be inflicted with whatever they're supposed to be inflicted with, and then you gain count. So just be aware of that. Let's see. She's very easy to play. I mean, this is like one of those characters, like, if you need a brain dead damage dealer, she's almost basically there. It is, you press a button and you do a lot of damage because of all the brave gains and everything else. Now, because she's mostly not shaving that great, that's why they paired Bosch as the other character, because he can just take all the hits, like, oh, take an HP attack. Okay, who cares? It's Bosch. He just eats like 80% of it anyway. So, and it doesn't do much damage. But like, just on the off chance that you're not bringing somebody like that, you may want to bring other ways to deal with shaving. You got stuff like Sarah right now who can just poison brave, deal poison damage and other, just bring ways to deal with that. As long as you're doing that, you're probably going to be fine. She's going to cap like nobody's business on everything, even out of synergy because of all the regions. But I find this character kind of boring to play, but very dumb effective. If you're into that, I don't blame you. Take her. And if you want, you can try using her janky, I guess, generic debuffs and stack with some framed ones. It's there. I don't think you're really bringing her for that, though. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Mino.
Start with the good. It's very strong, does a lot of damage, super easy to use. I think most people should pull for her LD. BT effect is really not that good, so only a fave, I guess. But as a fan of FF6, this is one of the most uncreative tuning passes I've ever seen. Terra is the perfect example of a lot of words and numbers that mean nothing. I believe Tonberry Troupe was saying that too when they put up the infographic. They're like, guys, look how long this infographic is, but none of it means anything, right? Like, oh, this move does something different at this many stacks, this many stacks, this many stacks. Oh, all of these moves different versions, but ultimately, and these ones give these buffs. None of it matters. Her debuffs are insignificant. Her buffs are insignificant. Everyone's been asking on stream, what's her burst order? Or how do I maximize it? Or which skill do I use in this situation? It doesn't really fucking matter. Like, you press the LD, she gets free turn uses and stays at max stats. Yeah. And that's it. Like, why do you need to worry about the stack? The stack mechanic is insignificant. It means almost nothing. The buffs and debuffs mean nothing. All right? Like, people are like, on two targets, do I hit skill 1 or skill 2? There's a difference of about 10k damage on them, right? Like, either a big splash or you're hitting one for double damage. Like, it's meaning. This is the most meaningless character I've ever fucking like. I
think Meteor generally does more damage, but it's a very
slightly more. It's so
yes.
tiny it doesn't matter. and it's like no, seriously, like, there's so many people who are in co-ops and on stream saying I don't know how to play Terra, but they could randomly press buttons and the DPS difference will be like 2%.
Co-op
so meaningless.
Co-op is easy. Co-op is LD, 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 skill 2. That's co-op. And I know that because if you auto plus, that's what she does. It's very, very easy.
Speaking of co-ops, all you Terras out there who do one LD cycle and then purposely not extend so I can get a turn, no thank you.
Oh yeah,
go ahead and finish the boss off. Like, what do you want my Porum to do? An HP plus? Like, serious? Like,
I feel you, man. I feel you.
You're wasting my time and you're wasting your own time. But no, but Terra, why? Like, there's so many creative kits in this game, and it feels like every tuning pass they get, Terra's getting something very different, and then ultimately just more boring. And this is like, oh, we don't know what to do with Terra. Let's just give her a bunch of turns in a row and free turns, I guess.
Turns.
Like, let's give her a stack mechanic and then completely ignore it because it'll never be used. Like, oh, how do I do the BT phase? What? You hit the LD and then you get to cast any of those abilities 5 times. Like, why are you asking? Like, this is the most brain dead character I've ever fucking seen. But so strong. As people will say when Tifa comes along, it's like, if you really want to just not play the game, then yeah, these are the characters to pull for, right? No, and I say that a little sarcastically. Of course, if you're struggling, this is a huge power build, and it's a very simple character. Like, you can just press buttons. You can't play this character wrong. She's gonna do about a couple million damage a fight, no matter what buttons you press at all. It really doesn't fucking matter. Probably try not to hit that EX as much as possible. Refresh a buff here and there, but super, super strong character. So boring. I always say games are about making choices, and Terra is like the perfect example of your choices don't matter. They just don't, right? Just press a button. If the buffs fall off, she's still capping. If the debuffs fall off, she's still capping. It doesn't fucking matter. So for the people worried about resources, LD is all you need, guys. The BT is super extra and not that great. Garland's BT, as everyone is hyping, way more powerful effect.
Well, and people get confused about her BT because it's 10 turns. It's a 10-turn BT. Oh, wow. Is that well, she'll burn through those 10 turns by herself before anybody else gets it. So even if it was an amazing effect, and it's like you said, it's not the best of the BT effects. She burns through it just because you press the LD button and there's 10 turns gone. Yeah.
Oh, and people are saying like people keep saying, how do I optimize this? Like, oh, if I have the burst effect on, I don't want to press the LD, right? Because then it'll burn through her turns faster. No, it doesn't fucking matter. She's gonna kill everything. Like, you're gonna use her in the 2-week synergy. She's gonna have synergy stats for the next 2, 3, 4 events. It really does. She's gonna cap all the time. It doesn't matter what you press or what you do. Feel free to LD with the burst effect on. She gets like 2 fucking LD cycles with it on anyway. It just doesn't fucking matter. None of it matters.
Yeah, a lot of JP players that we've talked to, I know, did not use her much out of the 2-week synergy, as are the case of a lot of characters, unless she was a favorite. I mean, if she's a favorite, you can carry Terra Yang, Terra Garland. You can carry those combos out a while, and so it's not like she drops off to nothing. I mean, I like Squall. I've been using Squall in content since there's rework. So, yeah, it is what it is. But there's other damage dealers coming, and including a pretty significant damage dealer next month, and then another. I mean, you always get the ramp up.
Yeah, I completely agree with Mark. Like, I was going to make just a DPS joke, but it's pretty true what Mark's saying. The average player does not use Terra much out of synergy. Like, there are other BT effects out there that are far, far, far more useful. And as CSDX is saying, and I wanted to bring up, like people like Bosch, when you're running Terra, you probably want somebody else's burst effect anyway.
Yeah.
You probably want a ton of aura characters that just sit there. You don't want buffers because she's going to burn through everything. You don't want to rely on her own buffs. You just have a bunch of aura bots sitting in the background, like Arciella and Sarah. etc.
Yeah,
and
Sarah's
she's just like, she's just going to kill it. But whatever, like, it doesn't, nothing she does matters. Just build around her or use her if you want. But like, BC put this out there, and I really, really agree with BC. BC says everyone's talking about Terra and Yang, but I guarantee you everyone's going to get bored of Terra and Yang so fast. Like, they're like, oh, it's so powerful, but it is the most like, a lot of people stopped using that combo in JP because it was so boring. But so we'll see.
Now that being said, it's one of those combos that if you're in a place where you're struggling for resources, but you have enough resources for these two, it might carry you some distance. Like, you might be able to not pull on some other things if you can just move through that combo for a while. But yeah, the majority of us don't use the same characters on every single event. Some of you do. That's your thing. But the people who generally do that are fairly creative, and they kind of like to do their favorites. So they're not gonna focus on a gimmick. But there are some people who might struggle with content who would really like to do it. And so that combo, again, I talked about it in my video. We'll talk about it later this month. But Yang has a very short duration buff. A frame buff. It's 2 turns, and every time the boss acts or an ally acts, he does a counter attack or he does a follow-up attack. And so, as you can see, Terra takes tons of turns. Every time she takes a turn, he makes a counter attack. So I mean, it's just a built-in combo, and so you can do tons of damage for free. It's just free damage. So yeah, I mean, it's but yeah, RFK is saying, oh man, I just pulled Terra, I guess I got to pull for Yang. No, you don't have to. But it is. It's a novelty, right? It's a novelty combo. It is a powerful combo. A lot of us would get bored with it real quick. We're not going to do it for 6 months or even 5 fights. I think you were talking about Eldenarsh. I brought Eldenarsh to 6 fights, and that's enough. That's why would I bring him to any more, right?
Stop listening to my other streams.
I
Stop spying on me.
I listen to all the streams. but right. I mean, yeah, bringing a character through 6 fights, that's pretty good. Yeah, what more do you want? And now let me do something else. Let me work on
that's a
something
solid
else.
contribution. 6 full fights.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's
I
great.
agree.
Yeah. Let's look at the podcast polls. As you can imagine, on the Bosch banner, one person says they're going to pity. They're lying. The BT on that banner.
Wow.
2 people. No, that may just be. No, that's actually a human.
Global results are 2 LD pities and 1 BT pity.
Yeah. So yeah. Over, of course, MateriaBot. Thanks, Quetzalma, for MateriaBot, and you can vote on podcast polls on our server or any DissidiaFFOO server that has the podcast polls. So this is across 10 servers. 1 pity BT, 2 pity LD, 1 person using gems, 17 tickets, 107 skipping. On the Terra banner, however, 7 using pity the BT. Again, there's a lot of people who are gonna just get the BT on this banner and not do anything else because no free polls besides your daily ticket. 56 chasing the LD, pitying the LD. 10 using gems, wantingly. I'm not even sure why we have that one anymore. Just wantingly wasting gems. 52 using tickets, like myself and Mino, and 17 skipping. So, yeah. Thank you, Retro Gamer Dad. I don't know which one you added to. 1 BT pity, so 8 BT pities as well. I know our friend 40 the Broadway Saiyan, 40 the Broadway Saiyan on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. He was going all the way to the burst on this. He didn't have to go to 500 G tokens, but he did get over 300, I think. So, but he was chasing the burst on the first banner. I think a lot of people were. So, I know Kreese had to spend a little bit more than she would have liked to. So,
I pitied Terra LD. Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't.
You didn't keep going for the BT?
Absolutely not. I do not pity bursts.
Good self-control.
BC, our friend Black Nero on YouTube, he did pity. I
learned my lesson with Arden.
Spoilers.
BC pitied? What a sucker.
Spoilers. Go watch his poll video. I won't spoil that for you. It was if you like to watch people suffer, you can watch that video. All right. Well, we also got a story. This is a story chapter. This story focused on Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy XII, more so on Final Fantasy VI, but of course Bosch and Gabranth were featured as well, but mostly the Final Fantasy and Ash. So spoiler alert as we talk about this part of the story, if you haven't played it. If you just skip through the cutscenes, then we'll help you know kind of what's talking about. I enjoyed this chapter because it showed how terrible the Final Fantasy VI cast is, and how worthless they all are. And
I can't even refute that.
I can't either.
Horrible.
We'll get
Terrible.
into that.
It is. Locke is a complete douchebag. Celeste and Terra are completely worthless. Like the only person who's like worth anything in the Final Fantasy VI cast is Realm and Gao. And they're just kind of comedic relief. Mog did some good. He did some heavy lifting, but he was just kind of like standing around. Although I will say before, obviously I'm not a fan of Final Fantasy VI. It's not my least favorite. It's not my most favorite. I would be all in for Mog Arden, although some people on our Discord were like, I hate seeing the 3D Mog with these characters from more realistic Final Fantasy. It's freaking Final Fantasy. There's nothing realistic about Final Fantasy. Like, yeah, okay, so they live in a city and they have cell phones. They're still monsters. They fight monsters and have magic. It's fantasy. Like, it's okay. Like, we don't have that stuff. So that didn't, like, throw, like, oh, no, it took me out of my, experience seeing this 3D poofy Mog and talking to Arden. No, I'm all in the Mog Arden camp. I really want a whole chapter devoted to Arden and Mog and their crazy adventures, like a buddy cop film. I'd actually play that game, Final Fantasy. We didn't name for it. Arden and Mog. They go like they're in Miami and they're hunting drug dealers and stuff in their Lamborghini. I mean, I'm all for that. Arrow, what did you think?
Okay, so I love this chapter purely because it has shown the way people have embraced their newfound hatred for Locke. They are joining my camp, and I am all for it because I've always said Locke is one of the worst Final Fantasy characters ever, and I have now newfound members in that camp with me. Anyway, we kind of talked about that, and I do not like when we go through this chapter, everybody's trying to tell him, maybe you should go back to your friends. And he's like, nah, treasure matters more. This treasure I'm looking for matters more. And I'm just like, wow. And the first things first, guys. Locke abandons Celeste on her own when they first wake up and, wherever the heck they're at in the, in the new world. And I was just baffled. I'm like, he just left somebody on their own and he's going off on his own. That is like horror movie rules 101. You don't abandon each other and go one-on-one. I was just like, okay, you can go and die now, I guess. And Celeste and Terra can just be, best friend, girlfriends. Okay, cool. So I don't want to go too far into the Locke thing because there's just too much I have to unpack there. But it is just crazy that this chapter is written the way it is. Also, second point, I have to ask, what is up with hiring Shadow? This is not the first time this has happened. Edgar hired him in Act 1, and then we got Ash here, another Royals member hiring him for something. I'm like, he gets paid, and he says he got paid in dog food or whatever. I think that's what Realm or something jokes about.
Nope, that is correct.
And I'm thinking here, whoa, hold on. Where is this dog food at? And if there is no dog food, does this mean that Ash is killing monsters while Shadow just kind of lays and takes a nap so that she can feed Interceptor for him? What is the point of hiring him? What does he get out of it other than he just gets to kind of chill and have his dog get fed? I'm sorry, that took me out of my immersion with the game more than anything else. I know people are saying Mog did it, but no way. Shadow getting hired by everybody and their mom is just too much for me at this point. I'm like,
I will comment that this is kind of leaning into some of Shadow's stick in FF6, where it is his mercenary thing, where he kind of will work, but he kind of sets weird bars for what he will work for depending on who his client is. Like when Sabin first runs into Locke, he works for a cheap price. It's 300 gil to hire him or something. It's not much. It's a cheap price that you can easily make the first time you can hire him. The chances of you not being able to afford it, or it's free, maybe it's free.
Well, so chat is reminding us that in Final Fantasy VI, there's a couple jokes about Interceptor eating people. And so, we saw Ash, we saw Gabranth, we saw Bosch, we saw Penelo, we saw Belthier, we saw Fran. Where's Vaughn? Is that how Ash paid Shadow by feeding Vaughn to Interceptor?
Oh no!
Where's
Cyan? He was the only FF6 character missing.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Vaughn. Is there any? Do we have any other Final Fantasy 12 characters? Vayne, I guess. Vaughn is Vaughn dog food? Because I think that's a good point. Where do you get? Does Ash? I mean, Ash seems like a girl that would hang around with some dog food. Just keep it, nearby. But how could? Or I guess the better question is, what skill set does Ash have that allows her to find dog food as opposed to Shadow?
Well, see, Mark, they established that in this world, everyone can concentrate their will to conjure things up. So while everyone else is conjuring their hometowns and stuff, Ash really wanted dog food.
No, that doesn't work in this
Golbez does say he cannot will the
airship
will
back
a new
into
airship.
existence.
Yeah. That's because they're trapped in Celeste's depraved prison. But we'll talk about that. I'm glad Arrow went first. I'm glad Arrow went first because I have a big counter. All you people in chat agreeing that Locke is shitty, I got the perfect counter here. But
yeah, there's a little bit of WandaVision going on in this in this story mode with Celeste. So no, go ahead, Mino. Go tell us about that.
Okay. So let me preface this by saying Locke is also a piece of shit, but the people who are supporting Celeste over Locke, you guys are crazy. All right. First, and saying Gabranth too. Okay, guys, we're gonna get into this. First of all, Locke is just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go do this thing on my own. I'll be right back." He literally says that to Celeste. He's like, "I'm gonna find some treasure. I'll come right back after." And Celeste is like, Celeste is freaking out over nothing. This is Locke saying, "Hey, I need some air. I'm gonna go to the store." And Celeste calling up all their friends and saying, "I'm gonna kill myself and everybody in here because I don't know if this boy likes me." Like, holy shit, this is the most misogynistic representation of we know the Japanese are misogynistic, but this is hilarious, right? Like, Celeste is dooming 2 games worth of characters because she doesn't know. It's not even, "Oh, I know Locke likes me, I just don't know if he likes me more than a friend." That was her whole fucking thing. And it's her fucking mindscape is so bad that they're all eternally trapped in there until she can get the fuck over it, right? And again, you guys are blaming Locke for leaving. Locke just wants some fucking air. He didn't say he hates Celeste. He didn't say he's never coming back. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go do this thing on my own. I want to do it on my own. I'll be right back after." And Celeste is freaking the fuck out. At least Locke's baggage is not dooming everybody else. All right, you guys are crazy. Then he meets up with Gabranth. You guys brought up his like Gabranth put Locke in place. No, Gabranth is like, "You want freedom? I don't understand that life. What is a life worth living if you don't die for the people you love and stay by their side 100%?" You guys remember what happened to Gabranth? He dies a very dishonorable death in FF12 because he's such an insane zealot. All right, guys. Like, I mean, like, sure, you have sympathy for him, but Gabranth's never leave their side and die for the ones you love is not exactly a healthy attitude. Like, I sympathize with Locke in that conversation. He's like, "Dude, chill." He's like, I just want a second to myself. Jesus Christ, Gabranth. Gabranth's like, "No, you should never leave Celeste's side. You should die for her." He's like, "Gabranth, chill the fuck out." Okay, so Locke just wants a little bit of air. Celeste is the one freaking out over the most teenage thing I've ever fucking seen. It's not, "Does Locke like me?" She's like, "No, guys, I know Locke considers me a great friend." She says that multiple times. And she says, "Oh, I know Locke's coming back. The only thing," she's like, "I don't know if this is more than a friendship." That is it. She's dooming dozens of people due purely to that. Like, and Gabranth's attitude isn't. These are the most clingy people I've ever fucking met. The most codependent. This is insanely codependent. Like, imagine if you went to the store, you walked out, you didn't tell your significant other, you walked out the door to go to the store, a grocery store around the corner, and your significant other starts blowing up your fucking phone saying, "Where are you? Does this mean you don't love me? I'm gonna fucking kill myself." No, guys. Celeste is way in the wrong here. Locke is doing nothing wrong. Is Locke a little Cali? Sure. Is he committing any crime? Not even fucking close. Jesus Christ, people, let your partners breathe. Like, it's okay to have some alone time. Holy fuck. But Mark, do you want to weigh in on this as the most level-headed person here?
Yeah, no, I started this by saying the entire cast was shit. So yeah,
I agree.
I think they're all worthless.
The best part about this chapter is that it's killing Ink on the inside. Ink
Yeah.
is dying. So Celeste is one of
Yes.
Ink's favorite.
Yes.
Celeste is Ink's FF waifu, and he's like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "Celeste is so much stronger than this in her game. Like, what did they turn her into? She's a blubbering mess because she's not getting the D. Like, it's ridiculous." But
I mean,
go ahead.
to be fair, you know, this is only the first part of the chapter. You know, their memories have been, you know, Zarathi's he's having a meltdown here. But you know, it is only the first part of the chapter. Their memories were altered. They were just gone through this weird catastrophic thing, so everything's a little crazy. So, but it doesn't seem reflective of the characters we know from Final Fantasy VI. You know, Celeste seems much stronger than this. You know, yeah, Terra kind of has stuff together here a little bit, but yeah, Locke isn't quite as, you know, just whatever. But Kreese, I know you're a big fan of Final Fantasy VI. What did you think? Have you gone through all the story part of this chapter?
I had to skip some of the cutscenes just so I could get through everything on time, and I still didn't make it to the Lufenia before I had to take a nap this afternoon. So I did not see all of it. And yeah, I don't really have much to say on the full story yet. So I'll leave my thoughts about how everything flowed. I did not watch all of it. So yeah, I'll leave my thoughts to myself for now, since I haven't seen everything yet.
Well, I think this just cements that Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy XII are kind of on the low end of the spectrum of good Final Fantasy games. So, no, but let us know what you thought of the story in the comments, and like, sub, and ring the bell for notifications. And add to our Twitch stream 150 subs for me to pity and use 7, because apparently that's a thing that people want. I won't cosplay her. Our friend Rez is cosplaying Terra as we speak. But I'll find a whip maybe. For 200 subs, I'll wear a skirt. How about that? So I probably could find one of those.
You have to shake it on camera. Like, you have to get up and dance in front of the camera if you also get the 200 subs and wear the skirt.
Wow. Okay, that's...
There you go. We're trying to make it interesting.
Like objectifying me. Okay. Now I feel uncomfortable. Hey, well, there's some refined spheres. Speaking of uncomfortable, our friend Macnell, DissidiaFFOO.com, and Nibelung helps with the refined sphere guide. These spheres are garbage. I know everybody crushes on Vanille. This is the first time we get Vanille's Vanille sphere. 40% chance to remove 1 buff from target inflicting break. My opinion, I'll jump to everybody else, but my opinion is, yes, this is a great sphere on those who can re-break, but it's probably better to have better attack than debuff, and just bring debuffers. Arden, Aranea, Null, Vayne, and Gabranth, all potential people. But so I mean, I'd make a few Vanille refined spheres, but don't make 100 of them. There's not. Bosch is fairly good in terms of its good attack, but it is only 3 turns when you take HP damage. So there's only so many characters that are going to be able to use it. They're almost all tanks. It is a B. It is a tank sphere. But it is the highest attack you can get on a refined tank sphere. So maybe build a few of those. Porum is kind of garbage healing. After granting a buff, party member gains 1% based on HP, max HP. So it's not very much. Rydia is when attacking target's weakness, increases brave damage about by 2%. There are some others that do a little bit better, so that's not one. Terra is Imp Brave, Max Brave, so that's kind of garbage and pass. Von Vayne, the bad guy, when attacking target afflicted with break, increases brave damage dealt by 4%. That's okay, but there are some better ones, especially with the brave damage. So yeah. So maybe a couple of those, but yeah, not real great ones. This is the first time we get Vanille, so a few of those, but other than that, there's not a lot that I think that are huge. Arrow, any of these spheres that you're going for?
I made a few Rydia spheres already. I find them to be, I know 7's coming back soon, and that's a really good sphere, but Rydia's is also pretty good filler. For certain characters, the extra attack and the little bit of extra brave damage. I mean, it's one of those spheres you can't really go wrong with if you're just wanting to slot something in an A sphere, and the character's elemental or can hit some other kind of weakness damage. And it doesn't conflict with 7 because 7's going to be red sphere, so you don't want to make too many of those Vanille spheres. I think Macnell's guide does go into how many characters would be really good with Vanille's refined sphere. So if you're interested in that, you don't have to build too many of those. So you can be saving up for some 7 spheres that are coming later this month. And that's a pretty good refined sphere. I think it's like 4% more brave damage when attacking weakness. Pretty good stuff. So if you're just wanting, I don't know if they stack the 7 spheres. So if you want to add a Rydia sphere with somebody who has double A's, for example, Rydia and 7's a pretty good combo. I used Rydia's main sphere, at least on Onion. I think it's a really good sphere for him. So if you're needing refined spheres for him too, that's one of them. Anyway, yeah, Rydia sphere is the best one out of the set. Easy to me. Vanille probably second place, just because it's got niche uses, and the characters that can actually use it really well will greatly appreciate it on their E slot that they have. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Anyone else want to take a crack at it? Go ahead.
Mino Crease, any sphere excitement?
Spheres are cheating.
Yep, spheres are cheating.
Spheres are cheating, and they're crutches. Just like Synergy, BTs.
Yep. Summon boards.
summon boards, thank
Arts,
you. Character
artifacts.
points, character boards.
Yep, artifact passives.
artifacts. If
Yeah.
you use any of these things,
All crutches.
your run doesn't count.
Yeah, ingots. Those are crutches. Books. Yep. Realizing J Dota, it says ingots. Yeah, the big crutch. If you're Terra,
Mannequin weapons.
Yeah, my Terra is 0 out of 3. No need to fully realize her. Yeah, levels. Yeah, no, you should be level 50. Don't waste those. Don't waste those spheres. But gem revive. Always gem revive. Yep, always gem. Yeah, using 3 characters on your team. That's a crutch. That is a crutch. We do have a Lufania for this fight. Once you can find it, it is a level 200. You fight 2 Humbabas. There's also a co-op, which is not Humbabas. We'll talk about co-op here in a second. I forgot to add that, but you fight 2 Humbabas, and they're annoying. They have the battery reduction, the brave gen reduction, and considerable brave damage reduction at their max 80%. They absorb thunder, so don't bring thunder. They're tough against or resistant to range damage. They are immune to paralyze, HP silence, and all generic stat down: attack, max brave, int brave, defense, speed, etc. The breath that they do, which is, again, we fought these before. They delay you 5 turns. It's awesome. And it's a pain in the butt. They do have Lufania orbs after they get to 79% of their health, and it never disappears. It increases by 4 every time they take non-elemental magic. So don't bring an enchanter, because that will screw up your run real quick. And don't bring elemental damage. They do counter elemental damage when they get below 50% of their health. Don't bring elemental damage. Lightning, Paladin Cecil, don't do it. Don't bring elemental damage. Just bring non-elemental damage like Terra, like Ultimecia. Both great characters for this run. They both get tons of free turns. They both are at. There's also another, speaking of free turns, there's another effect that they have once they go to 79% and then 49% and then I believe 29% of their health. They develop a red aura and an invisible shield. It's about 30,000 brave. The red aura decreases their magic defense but makes them immune to all forms. They get that border around their turn count, the A and the B. Makes them immune to delay, deletion, and are they immune to launch as well at that point? Well, they can't be delayed, so you might not want to be launching anyway. The aura, so it's a red aura, it is canceled once you take 8 turns. So again, consecutive turns, free turns, summons, calls, all those kind of things. If they're allowed to act while they have the red aura, they will do a dispel attack, and they will dispel your character that they attack and could potentially kill them, especially if you're bringing a character like Gladio or Bosch. So those are the things you have to deal with. If you have Terra, probably not a problem. You probably beat it fairly easily. I brought Bosch and Terra, and I just, because I had Bosch, so I'm like, I'll bring Bosch, see how he plays. There's a 75 turn limit count, and with Sarah's 20 turns, I don't have her burst, but with Sarah's 20 free turns, or how many of her stupid free turns she gets, I still beat it exactly at 20 turns, or at 75 turns, because Bosch is doing that little damage. So he's not great. But it wasn't difficult. I just you could have brought a lot of other characters. They don't do enough, in my opinion, for Bosch. They don't do enough AoE HP attacks to make it useful. I'm guessing Gladiolus, because they can delay him and he'll be able to counter. I'm guessing he's probably a little bit better, although you played with him and had some issues, right, Mino?
I didn't use him, but I do know that they dispel at regular intervals, I think, during their thresholds. So you just need to play around that, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Yeah, but
and on that note, I think Arrow said that earlier that this is why Bosch is ideal, because if he gets delayed, he just sits there and tanks for you. So,
but
ideally,
you
I guess.
you don't have to.
About needle shot too. You can evade it. So 8 and
Yes.
Jack are extremely good here. It doesn't matter what version of needle shot is used.
8 is good.
It is dodgeable. Yes. So 8 and Jack are very good here. If you can time, at least for Jack, his EX well, you're gonna be fine. Just eat the attacks. It doesn't even matter how many turns you take while they're in that concentrated state. You could just eat the attacks and keep going. It doesn't matter. So just something I thought I'd throw out there. If you dodge it, you can just play like normal and you don't have to worry about a dispel or dying. Yay!
Or you can bring Ultimisha and Terra and Sarah and just not have a tank on your team and kill them in 20 turns and call it a day. Arrow, you heard what I did. I brought Bosch and Terra. I don't have her burst. And I brought Aerith along for the ride. Probably have better if I would have brought Jack or some other damage dealer. There was too much at that point. There was too much auras. I did not need that many auras for Terra boosted. That being said, Arrow, how did you approach this? I know you brought Jack.
Yes, Jack was great here. And then I used Sarah and Aerith as my other two. And I just basically let Jack have all the turns he wanted, pretty much whenever he wanted, and then made sure to time the EXs so he'd be ready to dodge at the right threshold. I think I screwed up one time and then just summoned my Terra friend and went ham from there. And then when he came back, I just summoned like normal and it was all good. So yeah, not a bad fight. If you bring the right characters. This is otherwise it's kind of like annoying trying to deal with certain mechanics in the battle. If you bring like kind of slow characters who can't take lots of turns, or you don't have a way to dodge the needle shot pluses. Woo, I'm so sorry. This fight could probably be quite hellacious, but if you don't have Terra, you may have somebody like, I don't know, Ultimisia, who could be very good for this battle and will meet the orb requirements. I think there's been some people who've used Emperor as well.
Yes. Yeah, there's Emperor runs. Yep.
Yes, so he would be a very good damage dealer for this with his off-turn damage and everything. So there's a lot of options here. We've fought these Humbabas many other times. Just be aware of the Humbaba breath. Those things, especially depending on who they target. But if you have that happen to you, bring Onion Call and use it before 50%, of course. And you'll get one-time freebie to bring that character back from the Shadow Realm on the turn bar. So
that's not a bad idea.
That's my recommendations there.
To clarify, they cleanse all of their debuffs. So every debuff on them, framed or unframed, they cleanse that at 79 and 49. They do not cleanse their debuffs at 29%, but they do get the red aura at each of those increments, 79, 49, and 29% of health. So, but they don't cleanse debuffs at 29. So once you get to 49%, you can start stacking debuffs on them and go to town. Not worry about it. Mino, how did you approach this? Thank you, Raw Life. Appreciate that.
Okay, so I'll dive into the specialized stuff. First of all, everyone's asking in chat. That is correct. They do not cleanse at the 29% threshold. So after the 49, you can apply all your debuffs and no-turn them if you really want to. Mm-hmm. So the typical Lufania thresholds, 79%, 49%, 29%. 29% does not have a cleanse. So you can go all out on that. The second thing I wanted to say is if you really want to make elements work, you can. There's a workaround. Who discovered this? I think Leviax discovered this in our community.
That Leviax thing. Yeah.
So basically, it only counts an elemental attack if numbers pop up. If what he did was lightning Arciela, and what that means is that they absorb lightning damage, and Arciela prevents Brave Gain. So does like Yuffie. And I think Setzer does the same. No. Setzer does the same. Well, people who prevent Brave Gain and you use Lightning as an absorb elemental, it turns out the sum of it is 0. So he was able to bring Lightning through it very comfortably, because if you nullify Brave Gain, it does not count the elemental attack. They do not counter. And same with Ramu Summon as well, right?
Wow.
So you could bring any Lightning elemental character through fine. Not only that, but they also don't counter if they're paralyzed.
Hmm.
So if you paralyze lock them or use Ramu summon, lock them no turn and spam elemental abilities, they also do not counter. So if you're crazy, and we always bring this up because maybe there will be a TCC challenge, and we always talk about playing outside of the box, you really can do elemental characters if you're able to either paralyze lock them or prevent Brave Gain. And yeah, Levy X-Ran, RCL, and Beatrix. Oh, right, Beatrix, not Lightning. My bad, right. So that works as well. Other than that, very lenient fight, which is a nice change of pace, to be honest. Magic damage to tick up the orb by 4 is very generous. Even the 8 turns required before their frame turns is not that bad, because once they hit those thresholds, they jump back 3 or 4 turns. And then if you use a mix of AAs and CAs, any character can do it. If you're in a real bind, you can summon or burst, and it'll get through it as well. It counts all of those free turns. It counts summon turns, it counts burst turns. So really, a lot of flexibility on team comp. I was looking ahead, but I only glanced at the orb conditions for the month. I feel like because all the orb conditions are so generic, this is going to be a very chill month. BC said that it's actually quite restrictive, so we will see. He's saying if you don't have the 2-week synergies of like Lightning and Garland, it can get a little bumpy throughout this month. But if this fight is any indication, so many ways to play around it. Even and Mark, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, even with the elemental thing, they don't counter until they're under
50%.
Yeah. So you could bring the elemental characters, burn no problem, then paralyze them, and then burn the rest. And lots of ways to really, really do this fight. A lot of people are saying, and I took a safe non-synergy route as well. If you ignore the synergy, you're seeing a lot of Ultimecia, a lot of Emperor, a lot of Sarah, a lot of Aerith. Those 4 are really carrying a lot of people through. Hope as well is a really good pick. Now that this information is out there, I'm really hoping to see some really creative runs out there, guys. This is one of those fights that is very lax on conditionals, and anyone can fulfill the take 8 turns before the bosses act, and you can get a lot of shit through. So have fun. I like these fights a lot. And then I know BC said that, in contrast, I think the Mog fight is going to be pure cancer if you're not running Synergy or Yuffie Cheese. So we'll look forward to that.
Well, even if you're running Synergy, I think it's it's a lot easier just to bring Yuffie.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about that. Yeah, that's for
right.
sure.
Right. Kreese, have you had a chance to do this?
No, I haven't been able to do the Lufenia yet.
Yeah. Do we need to talk about co-op because it's awful?
No, fuck
and
co-op.
I hate it.
Co-op's awful.
It's fast. So
it is
enjoy
fast.
That, yeah.
It is fast, but if you are co-oping and in this event and you are bringing Terra, because I'm assuming you have Terra, like 9 out of 10 of you, just LD skill 2. That's all you need to do, or LD skill 1, and double damage. I have seen Terra's LD and then kill one of them. Just using Meteor, just kill one and then leave one of the bosses alive. I've seen people use calls unnecessarily. I've seen Terra's burst, which is fine.
I've seen a lot of Terras pull out that hope call.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why do you guys need to imperil magic? She caps on everything.
Yeah. She doesn't need a lot of help in Cosmos. No synergy. You don't need any, there doesn't need to be any supports in the party. Literally, you're going to cap just pressing the button. So LD as fast as you can, and then, hit some damage as fast as you can. I would suggest doing skill 1 in the co-op just for equal damage and make it dead. You can do skill 2, 1 on each one, and you'll be fine. But the Blizzard effect sucks. If you don't get to go first, they cast this Blizzard effect, which does damage to you, and it makes the game hard to see. So that's always fun. But that's why, bring somebody, have your Porum or your Rydia, somebody who can go before them, because they don't always get to act before you. So if they get to act before you, they'll put that Blizzard condition on the field, and it does HP damage to you, HP sap or HP poison. and then it just makes it hard to see the screen, which is a fun effect.
LevyX has a correction that I want to add into the podcast. He says, lightning will give them an imperil, so it won't absorb anymore if the counter goes off. This strategy only works if they absorb it and it's nullified by Brave Gain. So that's why he used Beatrix instead of lightning. So something to consider, guy. Yeah, right. I guess you can't avoid the imperil on lightning.
Yep.
But right. So he's saying that if you imperil and you do 0 elemental damage, it'll still tick the counter. It's only when they absorb it and they get no Brave Gain. So very interesting coding.
Theologica, who's also in chat with us, did run lightning, ran Terra Lightning Aerith, so you can check out their run as well. So you can get lightning through it, because of course you can, because lightning can get through every content. Why pull for Terra when lightning is still bringing the damage? Those people that said pull on lightning and save till Tifa, I think, yeah. save pull for what's his name? Jurgen. Jurgen. Jurgen's baby
it's
powder.
Jurgen now.
It's Jurgen.
Marcus said it's no. It's Jagrin. Arrow. First of all, Arrow, I admire your dedication to correct pronunciation. You've been doing so good. But Mark has said Jurgen so many times that I just can't get it out of my head.
Jurgen.
All it makes me think of is that lotion.
Yeah,
yes,
Jurgens.
That's what he's doing. He's doing that on purpose. He's doing that on purpose.
It's Jurgens. Yeah. That's part of the story, right? His family owned
he's
that.
He's so
farm.
angry, because his skin is so rough. You've seen his face, right? It's all ridges and shit. He needs that Jurgen
Poor
lotion.
little man. He's an old man.
Listen, somebody was giving crap on another streamer's, because they made a comment about who the heck likes this character, and like some.
Who said that? What streamer?
Yeah, I think 40 made a comment on Twitter that somebody went off on him because he said this character's weird or something. Yeah, nobody's played this game. Like this is the worst. No, I'm not even joking. Look at the numbers. This is the worst selling Final Fantasy game represented in Defo. I won't say it's the worst Final Fantasy game of all time. It's not Energize or something like that, right? Among Final Fantasy titles, main Final Fantasy titles represented in Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, this is the Crystal Chronicles, the Crystal Bearers, is the least selling game of all of the games. It is the least selling game, including the spin-offs that are representative. The Crystal Chronicles, the Crystal Bearers, which was on the Nintendo Wii only, is the worst selling of all of the games represented. So don't tell me that you love this game and that you love the characters. Yes, statistically, of the 150,000 people who have actually played this game, a couple of them probably play Defo. But, seriously, let's not pretend like you're going to be like, oh, finally, Jurgen is in the game. I've really wanted... To be fair, because when I heard it was Jurgen, I'm like, that's gross and stupid. Who cares? To be fair, I did go back and look at all the other final bosses and villains in the Crystal Chronicles series. They're all pretty much hot garbage, and so I admit Jurgen's fine. We're gonna have to have a villain for Final Fantasy: The Crystal Chronicles, and since we already have 3 characters from the Crystal Bearers for some reason, I think Black Nero's theory is that the dev team from the Crystal Bearers actually works on Defo, and so that's why there's all this Crystal Bearers love. We still don't. My problem is we still don't have Belle, who is a much more interesting character than.
They're saving that just like Riku for when the game's dying. They know it's
bring back Belle.
They know
Belle
people will pay real money for Belle.
Yeah. And there's so many costumes.
She has a legitimate bikini costume.
So many costume options. Yeah, there are so many costume options.
Everyone, every other FF waifu, they like a bikini would not be fitting, but Belle actually wears a bikini.
Well, so she has the bikini skin and the party dress, the fancy dress to go with Leo. So you can do 2 costumes at once. Come on,
She's gonna get
Joshua.
a BT as well. Yeah,
Come on, Joshua. She should get the BT.
But since we're ranting about JP now, I don't know what Mark's probably drunk tonight, but since you opened up that floodgate, I'm gonna jump on and add that Jegrin was a very logical choice. I think I talked to Arrow about this briefly. About, like, first of all, Lility is the only FFCC race not represented.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lility. And they needed a BT candidate. This was the perfect pick. They knocked out two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Plus, like I was ranting on the two streams I was on yesterday. What the fuck was I thinking? That guys, stop fucking lying. None of you guys care who the character is. The only thing that matters is the kit. A bunch of community favorites are like Arciella and Amedatelian and Kais and Lael. Shut up. None of you, like, Lael, Kais, and Amedatelian are so beloved by the DFFOO community because of their kit and their power. Nobody cares what game they came from. Like, people need to stop bitching about new characters because nobody really cares. They only care about the kit. Like, I guarantee you if Riku comes out tomorrow and she has the most ass kit ever, everyone will be like, skip. Like Sarah. Sarah's an example. Sarah's a very popular character. Everyone want to skip her LD. You got it, like, guys, these are just pretty packages in which the kits are put in. The only thing that matters are the kits. Stop being prejudiced against the character. Like, there's only, I think we counted, there's only 7 characters left that are playable and from the main series. And nobody likes these characters, so stop pretending you want Red 13, maybe. Umaru and Gogo, nobody cares.
Gogo.
Yeah, nobody fucking cares. Quina and Armorant, nobody really cares. Don't lie.
I think I want Minwoo still, but I don't think he's coming at this rate.
Yeah, there's a lot of playable characters from Final Fantasy II. that are not in the game.
Those are guest characters. We're talking about like
characters,
party.
Yes.
Yeah. So because like Dash is like guest character. Who gives a shit, right? Like, but like yeah, main party. There's like the FF4 Sid. He doesn't have a fan club. Get out of here, guys. Stop lying. So please, like,
Fuyasha,
everyone's gonna be.
We don't have Telia.
Tella. Yeah. And basically, there's only so many more characters they can do from the main party, and they don't have the biggest fan bases. Please stop. Like, the whole point of crossover games, and I think I read this in a lot of things, and like Marvel crossover events and like the fighting game crossovers, they're like, we like to have a mix of popular characters and lesser known characters, so that like the lesser known characters they don't have as many fans, but when the fans see them in there, they're happier than ever, because like it's such a deep. The point is, guys, you're going to pull for the kit or not. Don't pretend like favoritism has anything to do with it, and stop shitting on anyone. Like, people are allowed to have, like, some Crystal Bears fan out there who's playing DFFOO is ecstatic that Jegrin made it in. Actually, if you search the subreddit, some people were saying, hey, Jegrin would be a great pick, like years ago, because, of a villain and whatever. But the point is, let people be happy. What the fuck? Like, stop shitting on the inclusions of these characters just because you don't know. If you don't know the character, deep in your fucking library, play that goddamn game. No, don't do that. Then you'd be playing it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point, Nino, because I tried the DS Crystal Chronicles games because of the characters in this game, and I actually wound up really enjoying them. So sometimes it has an appeal for people, to try some of this stuff out, and really that's what some of it is about too. Sometimes it revives certain series. I think certain series like wound up popping up again due to like some of these crossover games. I think in Project X Zone, for example, like one of the things with like Capcom, Sega, and Namco or something, it revived like what's that series? Interest in the Robot Wars or whatever, the Sakura Wars series. I was like, what? Like, there's like all of these like random fans now because they actually went back and played one of the games.
Yeah, agreed. And again, I always made this argument in the past, like Fire Emblem and Super Smash Brothers. Martha was included in Melee. Originally, they were going to take him out because he never had a game released out of Japan. And then they said, fuck it, that's too much trouble. Just release Marth. And then people loved him in Melee. and they petitioned so hard that they brought Fire Emblem across the states. Like, that's the whole point of these crossovers. To answer chat really, really quickly, Fen Ragnarok says, are we bringing back the Marvel versus Capcom Infinite discussion about how people don't miss the X-Men and want their movesets in the game? That's a long story. TLDR, Marvel vs. Capcom, big franchise. Marvel is super greedy lately. When they promote games and stuff, they only do characters from the MCU now. Only. And they left out the X-Men because they didn't own it at that time.
Right.
Not the same thing, Fen Ragnarok, because that is saying they cut out the X-Men. Here in DFFOO, you have 99% of your fucking playable roster. You have everyone you want. Like, who else do you want added? Like, they can only dig deep into the B and C team now. So, not the same thing. And the other, there's one more question in here. Oh, I thought no one cared about these characters. Who exactly would we be shitting on? No, I'm countering Mark's point. Mark made a good point, and I agree, it's funny. But I'm also saying, like, let people be happy, unless it's Final Fantasy Tactics, because that game does not deserve any more representation.
Well, but I mean, here's the problem. Here's the problem with the Crystal Bearers specifically. So, okay, we got all this Crystal Bearers hype. Oh, we all like Lael and Kais and Amitatillion and Jurgen's going to be there and Bell someday. And we all get excited. You can't play that game. Like am I gonna play it on my PS5? Bring it back. Where's the payoff for SQEX for them to hype up the Crystal Bearers? Because I mean, I own a Wii and I can probably go on eBay and find the Crystal Bearers, but if you don't, where are you gonna play it? Like, it's not, they haven't ported it to Switch yet, even then, like, who's buying it on Switch? It is emulator. Thank you. Okay, so among the 100 people listening right now, who's downloaded the Crystal Bears on an emulator to play it because they've fallen in love with the characters? Seriously. Wii's are. Who's going to GameStop and buying a Wii just to play the Crystal Bears? I just don't think. It's not like, if it was the Crystal Chronicles, which had a mobile version that came out and didn't do very well because SQEX is dumb and ruins everything. But what is a games? They still have GameStops. You can still go to a GameStop. I've seen a couple. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, literally, like, if you are selling a franchise like Final Fantasy VII, there's a remake. You can go play I can play Final Fantasy VII on my phone. I can play it on my computer. I can play it on my anything. Yeah. Like, I can play different versions of it. There's going to be even more versions of it. So I get it. You sell the franchise. Crystal Bearers makes no sense. And this has nothing to do with Jurgen specifically. It's just, I mean, they've doubled down on the Crystal Bearers and tripled down and now quadrupled down on the Crystal Bearers when I can't play it. I can't easily access it. I can't, let me go back. Let me make this clear. I cannot pay SQEX to play this game. And that's why it's important to them. If I'm not paying them money, it's not doing anything for them. If I'm getting it through an emulator, that doesn't help them. Like, that's not helping the company. They are there to make money. I cannot pay them money to play this game. So why are they doubling down? So if they doubled down on the original game, I understand. They had the mobile version. It didn't work out well, so I get it. But, double down on the things you can go, because people are... Like, how many people have played Type... I know tons of people in our community who have played Type 0 because they like the characters in DeFo. Tons, I mean, Black Nero included. People have gone back and played Type 0 just because they're like, or people are playing 6. People are playing 4. I mean, Josepher's streaming 4 right now, right? Because these people have never played these games, and so they're doing it and they're enjoying it. And I'm not saying you haven't played any of these games, all of you, but people are going back because of Defo and playing these games. You can't play the Crystal Bearers in a way that's going to make SQEX money. So just release the dumb game so we can all play it and be done with it. Then I will stop complaining. I think that's my point.
Maybe there's something in the works, Maybe that's why they're doing that.
Thank you, Arrow. I was going to say, Mark, you make an amazing point. You're right. They cannot make money off of this. But in agreeing with Arrow, I don't put it past them that they're setting it up. Like Crystal
Finally.
Chronicles
Yes.
remake came out.
Finally.
Because, yeah, well, Kieran came out the same day they announced it. But the point is, like, first of all, I wouldn't put it past SQEX to remake all of their games. That's their MO. That's their MO. Like, eventually, they gotta remake the Crystal Chronicle. But I am
Remake all of them, please.
Yeah, like I would not be surprised if they either made a collection or the Switch makes it easier to play Crystal Chronicles games, right? Because they originally a lot of them came out on like Game Boy Advance and stuff where you can link up, and so Switch is enabling that kind of technology again. The point is, I wouldn't put it past Square Enix if there is a resurgence of Crystal Chronicles coming soon. But the other crossover games aren't plugging Crystal Chronicles as hard, so it is very interesting. Either way, Mark, you could be eating your words a year from now, maybe. Like, I'm glad this is recorded on the podcast for posterity.
Defo won't exist a year from now, so it won't matter. Then we'll be talking about some other random character that no one's heard of who just got their burst weapon. So yeah, hey, well, we're coming to the end of our show. We won't do Q&A this week. Thank you, Arrow and Crease and Mino, for being here and having a good conversation. Thank you for there's some other folks streaming, including our friend Rosfoina. So thank you all for hanging out with us. Looking ahead, May 4th, a Metatilian Lost Chapter with Deuce LD, new LD. May 6th, Mog's event, new character Mog from Final Fantasy VI. May 12th, Act 3, Chapter 2, Part 2, introducing Garland's LDBT and Seven's LD, the new LD. May 18th, Abyss and Co-op with potentially Ignis Banner. May 20th, Desh LC and Yang LD coming back on that. And May 24th, Dimensions End Entropy, or Dimensions End Transcendence Tier 2, with Ferris LD. Among them, there are still going to be those 12 free multis in the Mayfair, so that's going to be in there as well. But it is going to be a busy month, even though there's not a lot of surprises. We don't know yet, but there's going to be some cool things. So thank you all for, it is on. You can play the Crystal Bears on Wii. If you have a Wii, you can go find it on there. So thank you, Arrow. Thank you, Crease. Thank you, Mino. Thank you, chat. This has been episode 150 of the Crystal Chronicles, recorded this April 29th, 2021. We will be back with you next week live on Twitch and then all your favorite podcast apps and YouTube to bring you all your Defo news and talk. Until then, friends, goodbye.